Hello, I'm Michelle Cooper and welcome to the crafty side of my studio. I'm going to share with you a project that I just finished. It's what I call a junk journal style tag folder, and it's made all by hand out of recycled things, including book pages, old book pages, and some scrapbook papers, envelopes, beads, all kinds of different things, feathers. So I'd love to show you through this. At some point during this review, I will do what I call a little Cameo tutorial, and that's where I'll show you how to do the napkin collage that I used in this project. So the size of this is about 5 by 7. It's made from recycled pages that I got from a thesaurus. It's really nice and smooth paper, but it's rather delicate paper too. So I have 2 or 3 layers of it in here for the basic book. This is the front, and this is the back. And we'll start going through all the things that are in the front. So this is based on some birds and blossoms. It's basically as a thank you note for a friend who gave me a wonderful gift at the end of my watercolor classes this year. And she's very fond of birds. So let's see what we can see. First I did what I guess you could call it a snippet, or just kind of like a gathering of a whole bunch of materials here. They aren't held together by a paper clip though. They're carefully bonded together. Background papers, muslin, a tag from Tracie Fox, some sewing threads, so a feather, scrapbook paper, music paper. This is vintage music paper, and a Cameo. I made this flower here because I thought it called to mind the iridescence of the hummingbird. Then each one of the sides of this, the front and the back, they have a pocket for a tag. And even when you take the tags out, it still has something nice to look at. So you could actually use these tags in your other journals if you wanted to, and it would still look nice. This whole project would still look nice. So this tag has some slightly iridescent white eyelash trim, and it reminds me of an owl, which we have on the back here. So it actually shows through to the back. It makes you think of the owl feathers. It's very soft. Everything has different textures. This tag also has some words on it, and it's all handmade by me. There's a place for journaling on the back. Napkin Collage, some words, vintage music paper, stamping. So that's the first tag. The second tag that goes in here is more plain because things were getting quite busy here. Well, involved all kinds of stuff, so I decided to keep this one rather quiet. It's just got a little bit of a collage of a napkin with a butterfly and some Parisian lettering. It's been sewed around, and it has an eyelet, you can call it. So that fits in here. And then the tags on the back then have to do with all of this wildlife back here. So here's very sheer lavender sort of ribbon, and there's a sheer pocket here too, made from tracing paper, a tiny envelope, a little tiny faux tea cart, some words. And in the tiny envelope, it all opens up, and there is a little collection of stamps and a note paper. I didn't glue it because I think it's easier to get into if you do it this way. And then the butterfly will hold it together. So you can keep that in there, write something secret and keep it in there if you like. Let's see, let's have this one come back out a little bit. So I like to see the layering and some of the words maybe. Okay, so this shows in the back, of course, but also on the back of it, it shows in the front. So it gives us something to look at against this more plain tag. You probably noticed this curly paper clip. I learned how to do that from Tracie Fox. And then I just made a dangle on it by collecting some beads. Here's a leaf-shaped bead, one that's shaped like a flower, yellow flower. Here's like a petal, flower petal, some little seed beads, and a green to stand for the greenery. You'll see what it's holding in when we open it up. So we open up the whole inside here now. The inside, on the left-hand side, has one of my see-through pockets. That way you can kind of visually see the whole page rather than have it blocked off. See, if you have a pocket that's opaque, then it kind of blocks off. So this way you can see everything. But don't forget this beautiful iridescent feather. And it's very soft, and it's held in place by washi tape. Washi tape takes care of the edge of this. And I have several things in this pocket. When you take it out, it's still nice to look at because you can see the backing collage now. Music paper, a couple of different types of napkins that I did. The first thing that I have in the very back, since this person that I'm giving this to is a watercolor artist, this is watercolor paper. This is held together by two of those little glue dots, so you can actually take this off if you want, or else you can write something in there and then have it flip down. So that's the first tag that goes in. Then I have a postcard by, I think this is by Screech Owl Studios, pretty sure. And then here's one of Tracie Fox's little bird stamps, and then I've done some stamping on it as well. So here's enough for you to draw or mount a picture or do some journaling. And I've left a lot of these sewing threads on, but you can clip those off if they bother you. Here's the tag that shows the writing underneath here. So it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 layers of different things on there. Plain on the back with some lines that you can write your journal if you like to. And this is muslin. It's just stamped onto muslin. So we'll put that in, and then see when you put it at the bottom of the see-through pocket, you can see the word discover. And this is my original watercolor artist trading card that I made for my friend. She loves the birds, and so I have some birds like this in our backyard. So it's an artist trading card. I'll write a thank you note on the back of this before I send it out. And I'll hide that away so that she can discover it. Okay, so on the other side over here, this is actually a what they call a floating pocket, so you can actually take it out. The reason I did that is because I could have just glued it on here, but then you wouldn't be able to see the beautiful artwork that's on these napkins and on this, a couple of different kinds of napkins and some collaging that I did there. So even if you took this out, you would still have a nice inside of your folder. This is a beautiful floating pocket, beautiful on the front and the back. I'm gonna have to think whose this is. if I can't remember, then I'll put it in the description box below. So here we have some bird little tickets, and they have little sayings and writings on there. This says, what's this say? Spring is the time for plans and projects. And each one of these has a different ticket, has a different thing. Then here's the queen bee. I think you are a queen bee because you are such a great artist. I'm talking to the person, whoever needs to hear this. And so this tag is sewed around, and you can also clip these off if you don't like the threads. And that goes inside next to this journal card that went with the pocket. Here's my little tag. It has my name on it. And then there's a piece of stationery here. So, piece of stationery, I think it looks nice either way, whether you use it right on it with the feather at the bottom or the feather at the top, and there's still journaling space on the back if you like, but you could actually send a letter in that. I thought it was appropriate with the feather. So we put this back in here like this, and we put the eggs, my tag, the queen bee. I can pull this up just a little bit, and then I have 4 of these. Let's see, which one should we put on the top? The nest? Alright, we'll put the nests on top, like this. Put those all in, and then you just leave the curly paper clip on there, and when you're ready, you can just kind of lift it up and push your pocket right back on again. There we are. So that's my all about birds journal style tag card project. I have what I call a Cameo tutorial for you at the end of this video, so stay tuned. Now get ready for a Cameo tutorial. It's short, sweet, simple, and something anybody can do. I'll show you how I made something that's included in this project. This little Cameo tutorial shows how I use napkins to collage my junk journals. My base for this is an old thesaurus, but I'm finding that this vintage paper is somewhat fragile, so I need to reinforce it somehow. I also need a beautiful decorative element here. What I do is I'll take some beautiful napkins that have the print that I like or the theme that I like, and some of them have more than one layer of liner here, so you've probably seen this on other tutorials where you just take a little bit of Scotch tape to pull off the inner lining here. This one has 1, 2. It looks like it has 2, so I'll just remove this liner first. I'm thinking about using this for the cover. I know some people are able to peel the corners out and right from the edge here, but not me. So the first thing you need is a beautiful napkin, and then some Scotch tape that you can fold over on itself and then use that to pull off the edges. Isn't that pretty? Now you can cut if you liked a certain thing, like if you liked this bird or something, then you could cut that all out, what they call fussy cutting, which I don't love to do. Or you can tear it And you can just tear certain parts of it too. So let's say we just want this part for the upper corner of our book or our collage. Can tear the napkin while it's still dry using just the top layer, the colorful layer. So that can be torn off while it's still dry, and that makes it easier for you to move it around. Or you can cut with scissors, like I mentioned to you. You can cut with scissors. Or if you like that torn edge like I do, and it's not very easy for you to get exactly the edge that you're looking for, you can also use some water and a brush, and you can select the part you like by painting around it with plain water. Wherever you paint, it will want to tear there first. So if you do that before you glue it on or before you apply your matte medium, you've got a nice torn edge that's going to blend in seamlessly over or under anything else that you are collaging. So that works that way too. Or you can wait until, you can take the dry part, you can wait until you're ready to put it on your collage, and then you can overlap it with matte medium while you're collaging it down onto your actual book page. So if you were ready to collage it on here like this, you could use the matte medium, and then you can drizzle a little bit onto your surface, and it'll kind of go right through the napkin. It's so thin, and attach onto the paper below. So that's another way you can, especially if you know where it's going to be, where you want to have it. I think it's easier if you work this out while the paper's still dry, though, while the napkin's still dry, and then you know exactly where you want everything to be. But if you're sure that you know where you want it, sometimes you don't even need to put any matte medium underneath it. Just apply it at the top, it'll soak through. Then wherever the wet part meets the dry part, that's where you can tear it easily and do the next section that you're wanting to work on. The type of edge that you have in your collage depends on whether you want it to stand out or blend in. So while you have the cut edges following the edge of the folder, the torn edges can help connect other parts of the collage together or blend with decorative paper underneath. Once you apply the acrylic matte medium, it all blends together. On the cover of today's project, you can see examples of music paper in the upper left-hand corner that's been torn and cut, digital paper, decorative scrapbook paper, and a beautiful napkin, all attached to the base with acrylic matte medium. And then for this particular project, I wanted to use almost the full page on the inside here because it has a border at the bottom, so I could cover the whole inside of my folder, my tag folder, and that way I could put tags inside. But even when the tags are out, I still have this beautiful design to look at. I'm using the same methods and materials to prepare this napkin for the inside. Either cut it or tear it, depending on what part of the design I'm going to be using. I can also superimpose it on top of other paper. So if I like some decorative paper, but I do like maybe part of the bird images, I could actually choose something like this and I could tear that out and apply it on top. So here's a napkin and some music paper and another music paper, no, another napkin, some other papers here. I've used acrylic matte medium and a brush to collage all these on here like this. And I feel like this one will have nice design too. So it's all going to be about birds and flowers and music. So we got to let this dry. And then I'll be able to decorate the front and finish my folder. Thanks for watching this little Cameo tutorial on how I use Napkin Collage. So before I leave you, I want you to see how some of these other elements on the cover combine with the beautiful design of our napkin collage. Thanks for watching. See you next time.